Do it.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to episode 79 of the Live Beyond Average podcast. Here again with one of my co-hosts, Dustin Luebke. Here with a beard today.
Yep, little fire station vacation, so
You got to keep the beard.
got to roll the scruff out.
You go back to work tomorrow, so you're shaving that today.
Yep, back to the baby face.
Dude, I don't remember the last time I used a razor on my face. It's been a while.
Yep.
So me and Dustin were just out shooting our bows. It is early morning here. Went out, beautiful morning, no wind, nice and cool with no humidity.
That's the huge thing.
Yeah, it's been nasty this summer. So outshot our bows this morning, and we both shot last night as well, because we are 17 days away from archery deer season, and actually archery antelope opens this weekend. I'm not going out, are you?
No.
No, I might go out next weekend and waste a day.
Nope.
No, I know. Yeah, I hear you.
Well, I got some family in town, and we got a vacation out to the hills next weekend. So
Oh, nice.
Getting some family time in.
Perfect. Yeah, great timing before the hunting season rolls around too.
Yeah.
It's always good to do that. So, well, we are just going to talk a little bit about preseason prep, because right now we are in the last stages.
It's kind of the countdown.
It really is. 17 days for us for September 1st, man.
Yeah, and with the humidity dropping and the nights cooling off, you really start getting those chills. You're like, yes, the days are getting close. Fall is almost here. And it's actually nice to, last night, like I was telling Jordan, it was kind of windy out in the front of my yard, and I looked back where I shoot, and the leaves aren't moving. So I tried to sneak out there, and of course, my girls, Dad, are we shooting? Yep. Bring their bows out.
No alone time for you.
No, so we ended up just get out there and
That's great.
let them shoot first until they're tired, and then I'm like, okay, sun's going down, Dad kind of wants to shoot.
Yeah, gotta get a
Okay.
few arrows in.
No, so then we switched out, and yeah, it was beautiful. Get
It
some
was.
low light shooting in, and
Nice.
it's only lost one arrow, so
There you go. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not one arrow for low light shooting. And it was so gorgeous this morning, man. I went and trained a couple clients early before sunup, and then came back home and got out, and I was like, it's too nice of a morning. And I popped open the garage, hit a garage workout quick, just because
Nice.
of the nice cool temps, man. I just want to be outside.
right.
It's just amazing. So,
Oh.
and I'm sure September 1 rolls around, we'll have 90s again.
Why not?
Pretty huge.
Well, the school's starting, so most of the schools don't have AC, so it's going to be 90 for the
Yep.
kids to go back.
Of course, of course.
Um,
Well, what are you doing right now? Preseason prep. These last couple weeks. Let's talk about multiple things. Let's talk about our fitness, what you're doing for that. Also, let's just talk about your basic hunting prep, what you're doing with all of your gear, all of your your archery, everything like
Sure.
that. Let's get into it.
so as far as fitness goes,
Yeah.
I've just been trying to hit the gym as much as I can.
Yep.
Tires me out if I start doing too much. But other than that, I'm just trying to be active outside.
Okay.
Get those muscle movements outside, going on hikes, doing a little bit of stuff like that. But really getting that muscle fatigue and seeing
Sure.
how fast I can recover in that gym setting right now. And that probably these next couple weeks, I'm gonna start throwing some weights in the pack and doing a little bit of pack hikes or pack
Sure.
workouts. I don't, generally I don't throw a ton of weight in there just because I don't want to crush myself.
Right.
But I also noticed in the past years, if I don't pre-work out that pack,
Yeah.
and throw it on, I start to cramp up like in the center of my back.
Sure.
Because those muscles aren't used to that.
Yeah.
So then I'll get into like 2, 3, 4 day 2, 3, or 4 of a hunt, and I'll start getting these back cramps and back spasms. I'm like, what in the world is going on?
Right.
Well, obviously, that's one part that
They're not trained
failed
as
on.
much. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's where I'm at now. I'm not pushing it super hard. I think I probably will for that New Mexico hunt. I'll push later in the year, but
Yeah, your rigorous hunt comes later, so your intensity level will pick up a little later in the season versus some of these guys who have, like myself, who have an elk hunt here in a couple weeks. The intensity is just different, so your timing is just different.
Yep.
So you're more or less just working on your basic overall fitness here right now and health. That's awesome. And I like how you said that, like you're going on some hikes, going outdoors, like you're doing a couple days in that gym setting, which is our conventional fitness. the strength training, and then you're going outdoors this time of year for that unconventional strength training. You're out with the girls running around. You're going on a quick hike. I like that stuff.
And I kind of consider that like my cardio, my endurance.
Yep.
As far as I don't do a ton of cardio, like long distance runs, it just wears me out, and I just don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And same thing like with the weight training. I feel like if I do a ton of weight training, I get fatigued out in the field faster because I haven't done any endurance stuff.
Sure. So it's your way of combining.
Yeah.
You're getting all the benefits from the strength training, but you're still moving your body functionally and
doing those movements that you're going to be doing this fall. Whether it's climbing up into a tree or hiking through, or what do you got to, up and down hills.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yourself?
Dude, this time of year I'm doing a lot of everything. So like I usually am doing like these last 8 weeks into the season, I am working on still increasing my strength. So certain workouts, I'm still, in that 3 to 5 range, trying to build as much strength as possible. And within that same workout, a lot of days, I'm still doing some higher rep things for endurance, still keeping the intensity very high, whether I'm jumping on an Airdyne bike or a rower or hitting a sprint. So it's very much like I call it an undulated style of training, where I'm getting in strength, power, and endurance all in the same workout. And so like, for example, I might hit on my chest, I might hit a bench press for 3 to 5 reps working on strength. And then I might go into an RDL and hit 12 to 15 for some endurance for my hamstrings, and then jump on a treadmill and run a 200 or run a 400 and circuit that. So my intensity stays high, but I'm still building strength. And so then I might hit chest again later on in the week. And since I already did strength, I might be doing some hypertrophy or some endurance on chest on that second time I hit it, and everything just kind of alternates and jumps around. That way I used it for a couple different hunts that I was higher elevation, and it works really good. And then I'll still, on a nice evening, if I have an extra 20 minutes, I'll go hit a quick run, or I'll go hit a Great Bear and trek up and down 7 8 times to get some elevation in. You can get some quick elevation out there. Actually, it's pretty steep, so you can. And I took my GPS out the other day, because I wasn't sure what the elevation was on it. I was like, it can't be more than like 100 feet. And my GPS was showing from bottom to top 170 feet elevation, and it's a quick like couple hundred yards you're doing it.
Yeah.
And so you go up and down there, a bunch of times in 20-30 minutes. You can do a quick 1,000 feet of elevation gain and at least crush your glutes and your hamstrings, and just really,
which is huge for South Dakota.
Yeah, we're living out here on flatlands, man. Right. So like when you can get a little bit of that, at least it's not such a first day shocker. Like when you're done in New Mexico, or if you jump over to Montana or Colorado, at least it's one way to that shock isn't quite as bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I just really love that style that I utilize here these last couple weeks. It's intense. You don't want to train that way all year round. You definitely want to mix that up. But I found that it works for me. Works tremendous on being a flatlander and getting out there in the backcountry, and I'm usually set pretty good.
I think that's one of the things that I've found over the years that has been the most frustrating for me is once I get out there, I'm so excited to get out there, and then some fatigue sets in, and then you're sitting out there and you're like, this is all on me. I didn't prepare enough. I didn't get it. I should have prepared more. I should have been more serious.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, now I need to know what I need to do next year.
Yeah, and then not forgetting and getting lazy that next season. Like, dude, I absolutely love it. I have a guy right now. I actually have 2 guys prepping for moose hunts. One in Alaska, one in the Yukon. And the one who's going to Alaska is a young guy my age, and he's been killing it all summer. Other guy's a little bit older of a guy, came to me 8 weeks, 9 weeks out from this Yukon hunt.
Oh boy.
So I was slightly worried. But man, like, you talk about it, when a guy wants to turn it on and be dedicated and go, this guy has rocked it. Like, 62-year-old dude, and is crushing it 4 or 5 days a week, going hard. Nice. And his fitness level in the last 5 weeks is a flip-flop difference. Mm-hmm. It's insane. So it's like, I do not recommend only using 9 weeks to prep for a hunt. But it goes to show you get down to these final weeks, and if you put it off, just to get after it.
Right.
Don't put it off further, just get after it. And so it's definitely possible to just commit to it. Even if you only have a couple weeks here to still do something, get out and hike. I wouldn't recommend probably jumping behind a bunch of weights here with 2 weeks out. Just, you do have a small risk of pulling something. Like, if you do want to use weights, you need to be warming up well. You need to be going lighter and focusing on slow movements and quality form. I'm like, slow movements, working on form. But I would just suggest getting some cardio in these last couple weeks if you have not been training.
And that's where I will do like the pack stuff.
Yep.
Now, where I'll fill up my water bladder, throw that in there, because that's full.
Yep.
Or depending on how far I have to go.
You get 3 liters rocking quick at least. And
so there's some weight there, and then I'll just throw like a 15 in, just to keep it around that 20-pound range.
Yep.
And I found that's pretty
good.
Weight. Yep. And then, closer I get to getting to go somewhere, I'll bump that weight up just a touch. But I don't want to go so much that I really crush my legs and crush my back.
Well, yeah, because your recovery is just so much different than the average guy right now.
It is.
You know what I mean? If you have a treatment or anything like that, your recovery is just slower.
Right.
And you've learned that about yourself. Like, your normal self wants to go and just crush. And then you hurt for a week.
Exactly.
For you.
It's not worth the risk in that for that reward, I guess. But if I, when I get out there to hunt, it's no holding back.
Yep.
Then it's like, okay, it's game on.
Yeah, I'll deal with the soreness.
Exactly. I can come back and try and rest today.
Exactly. And one other thing I really like to do too, when I'm 14 days out from New Mexico, so I leave on the 5th or the 6th of September. When I'm like 12 to 14 days out, I actually eliminate movements like power cleans and hang cleans and deadlifts and heavy barbell squats, just because those are a few movements for me that in the past, occasionally, if I'm not focused and I try repping through something quick, or I'm not warmed up enough, or I'm a little tighter, that I can tweak my lower back or something, and it can bother me for 7 to 10 days. So some of what I call more risky movements for myself, I actually eliminate out of my exercise system. I'm going goblet squats with a dumbbell that's a little bit lighter, slowing my movements down, focusing on really quality form. I'm really hammering step-ups and lunges, things that don't really bother anything if they don't bother my hamstrings, they don't bother my lower back if I tweak something. So I just eliminate things that could make that trip down there miserable or a pack out miserable. Like, tweak your lower back sometimes, like some people, it could take a month. I've been lucky that when I've tweaked it, usually I can be back to normal in 7 to 10 days.
Yeah.
And so I'm like 14 days out, I eliminate anything that could be just an extra risk that could detriment the quality of my hunt.
Oh, yeah.
I want to get after it when I'm out there.
And you don't want to be held back. You don't want to hold anybody else back.
No, exactly.
If you see a critter that you want to go after, you're like, oh, I don't want to hike that hill because my back hurts.
Yeah.
Or, man, if I shoot something up there, that's going to stink because my back hurts.
Right.
So, just even that mental thought process, going into it completely healthy and strong.
And I'm a very trained individual. I've been training since I was 13, 14. I'm 31 now. You can count how many days I have off a year from exercise, like on a couple hands in that time frame. But it doesn't mean that I'm exempt from tweaking something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just happens.
Yeah.
And so if you haven't been exercising crazy, don't overdo it, is kind of the long story short that I'm trying to make. Just be safe, you know what I mean? Don't detriment the quality of your hunt.
Yeah.
So.
I train real hard on my dad bod.
Dad bod, dude. That's a common thing anymore.
That's something too that, like I was saying, I had my kids shooting last night and just getting out there, and they're just starting to shoot. My oldest 2 girls are 10 and 7, and they've got an actual bow now, a little diamond with a release. Nice. So just getting back and starting to see okay, let's start with basic form and basic, movements. And they're like, oh yeah, maybe I should do those too. Some of that stuff I was just telling them, don't punch that trigger, just ease the trigger.
Yeah.
Just let it break itself. And what did I do?
Yep.
First one.
Punching the trigger.
I'm going to throw this right in the bullseye.
Yep.
No,
but it's funny. It slows you down.
It does.
That's good.
It does. And it's fun to see those kids, when they actually hit the target, or we've got one that's got numbers, in a 10 spot in the middle. And man, if they can get it in there, they're just ecstatic. And that's what you want to see. You want to see them happy, and you want to see them excel at something.
Yes, excel at something and gain that interest of it being fun.
Right.
I mean, that's the key. It's got to be fun for them. It can't be like the serious go out.
No.
Everything's got to be perfect. Just go shoot.
Yeah. As much as you'd want to get them into like the, oh, you're going to be an awesome shooter and we're going to be throwing darts. It's like, oh yeah, Gretchen shot a dozen arrows and she's like,
yep,
I'm kind of done. Cool.
Yep. Go run
I'm
around.
Go ride my bike.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So that was good. And you know, the younger girls, they just shot a couple arrows and
they were good.
They're good.
That's good though. So 2 weeks out, 17 days. What are you doing for scout? Like, where are you going to be hunting opening weekend? Or the following weekend? Or
I'm actually not going out the opening weekend because I do a dove hunt.
Oh, that's
every year.
September 1st.
And that's
buddies.
Yeah, that's Labor Day.
Yeah.
September 1st opener, so that's a Labor Day. And that's one tradition I've been doing, and kind of gets me ready for like the pheasant season, the wing shooting.
For sure.
Those doves really make you humble yourself fast because they're super fast and you're so out of practice.
Yeah.
But it's a good time, so I'm not going to do that. I thought about going, just heading out and trying to find one of those big velvet muleys.
Right.
But no, I lost my hunting ground close to home here.
Oh, that's right. That stinks.
I haven't really been too on key with that.
Yeah.
Finding anything else. I've got one stand on some public stuff, but I'm not.
Nice.
Not all about that right now,
Yeah.
but I am 2 weeks, so it'll be
a couple weeks.
Yeah, about 24, 25 days.
Nice. Are you doing any scouting for that then? You got trail cam set up or anything?
I didn't this year. I really looked into the wireless ones.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to dive into that market yet, just because they're super popular this year. I know a lot of guys are changing over to them, and I really want to kind of get the bugs worked out.
I think next year might be a little better.
Yeah, get some reviews on, some of the places you don't have cell reception in some of those valleys, or if they're behind a hill.
Yeah, right.
So I just wanted to know, like, is it worth me getting those pictures or not?
Yeah.
I do have some cameras on some friends' land just for fun.
Yep. Dude, I didn't throw up any. This is the second year I haven't thrown up cameras now, second or third, maybe even more than that. I used to be heavy into it. Like, I spent a lot of money every year on cameras, on batteries, on throwing out some buck jam, all that stuff, and I'm not really into it as much anymore. I really enjoy going out and scouting and glassing, taking some phone scope footage and that. I love that, but I've just kind of gotten out of the trail cam thing. I do have one little spot that I'm going to be rifle hunting that I think next week when I go back, if I have time, I might go throw up a couple cameras for fun, but it's more or less stuff moves around so much in there that likely what I have pictures of, I might not be hunting anyway. So it's I'm literally only doing it because we found a mountain lion kill in there, a fresh one when we went in there last year. So I kind of want to see if there's a mountain lion moving around in there.
I got a tag.
I'm going to buy a tag too just because of that. Stay out of my spots. And so I might go throw one up on a couple of the main trails that we know where deer moving just for that reason.
Yeah.
But
that would be cool to get some pictures of that.
Agreed. Exactly. It'd just be fun, and plus...
And it would make the hair stand up on the back of your neck when you'd be out there hunting.
Well, dude, I hike in pitch black, and I hike out in the dark, too. So it's
Exactly.
You never know what you walk up on, and it's the only reason we found is we walked in on the second or third day, and there was a whole bunch of magpies and stuff flying around that weren't there yesterday.
Yep.
They were the day before, yesterday, it was yesterday.
Sign,
yeah. And so Matt was glassing, he's like, oh yeah, they're definitely feeding on something. So midday, we dropped down, went over there, and sure enough, tore up just like a mountain lion. The guts were tore out and moved, and then back of the neck, there was a big chunk pulled off where he had dragged her quite a ways, and then he kicked a bunch of grass over and stuff, and
unbelievable.
And then we found some droppings and looked it up really quick, Googled it, and sure enough, it was definitely a lion kill, and it was fresh because it wasn't there the day before, so we were within yards of kitty in there for a couple days, which is rad. It is, but you take those midday naps and you're both napping, and you're maybe one guy should stay awake.
Yeah.
Even though
back of your neck,
chances
back
is
of your head.
Obviously slim to none, but you never know. So that being said, the Glock is on my pack.
Yep.
During archery season, the Glock is on the pack.
Me too. I guess if I did have a bunch of private land or had my own ground where I could kind of manage the deer, or I had a group of guys and we went on a lease and we really wanted to get a good kind of basically log of what deer are in the area. then I would be way more apt to run trail cameras. I just don't. I'm not privy to that.
I second to that.
I know Matt does.
Oh, he runs. He knows every deer that's on his property.
Right.
But he actually manages well. He doesn't shoot young deer. You know, he's very disciplined, and he knows every deer that's on his property. You know, obviously he has some that move on and off, but where he's at, you know, a lot of the deer, they stay in one spot for the most part. You know, and so. Yeah, he's good at what he does, and I used to have a nice chunk of private that I hunted whitetails on hard, and that's when I was really into it, and I don't have that chunk of ground anymore, and that's kind of when I got out of it.
Yep, I agree.
And so yeah, if I would second that. If I had a nice chunk where I was the only one hunting it, or you know one of a couple guys hunting it, I would definitely be running inventory. That
definitely helps. I think a lot of guys be more selective too.
Yeah,
because if they see that, you know, 135, 140 inch 4x4, 5x5, and they're like, you know, don't run any cameras, don't know that deer's in there, you might get excited and want to shoot that deer. I would, for sure.
An upper 130s deer, if you haven't seen a nice deer all fall, comes by you quick, it's easy to shoot him.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It just is. Mule deer, especially, if you want to get into mule deer talking, it is really easy to shoot 135, 140 inch mule deer, just because they're framed out decent.
Yes.
And then you get them, you're like, oh, that was actually kind of a dinker. Like, but it's just easy to do because mule deer look really big on the hoof. They look, you know, and whitetails can trick you too, just like that. And not that there's anything wrong shooting that size of deer. Nope. I'm just saying if you're actually trying to manage a piece of property.
Yeah, if you say, you know, like if you have the pictures of the 150 to 160 buck, you're going to recognize it. And then you're going to target those deer too. Yep. And that's more of like what the managing aspect is, right. And that's kind of what those trail cameras are
really for.
Really intended use.
Right. Yeah. So that and seeing who walks into your driveway at night.
Yep. It's
funny. A lot of people use them for that.
Who's walking through, and like last year I had so many surveyors and everything else. It's like, oh, come on.
Right. You had that kid turning around on his four-wheeler all the way through your nice property, and you still end up killing a big, 175 that year or something?
Yep. Had a nice chat with him.
That's right. I remember you went and found him. That's really funny.
He was nice.
I'm sure he was nice.
After our chat.
He didn't come tear around again, I bet, either.
No.
Oh, funny.
No, so these final, you know, like we said, a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I know I have a new bow set up this year, and I went complete new.
Yep.
Like we were just talking this morning, the one thing that I'm not sold on is I got 3 different releases I'm trying out right now.
Yep.
And I am actually back at my trigger release, my wrist strap release.
The original.
Yep, the one that I've shot the last 5 years. And my groupings are a lot better with that release. And it's one of those things where now being this close to the season,
right,
it's almost too late to change.
That's what I told you this morning. Like, I'm all for the back tension release. Like, I switched over, definitely became a better shooter. You know, helped me not punch that trigger so much. But I also, when I know the frustrations I had with it from, you know, late May, June, and July when I started shooting it a couple years ago, 2 summers ago. And so, like, I get the frustration you're having. So I would definitely say, like, yeah, you're 2 weeks out, stick with what you know. And then this winter, start shooting some indoor and start working at making those adjustments, making those changes. And maybe it never works for you. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's something that guys have to remember in anything, whether it be certain scopes or shooting a certain rifle or long distance shooting or shooting back tension releases. Like, if something doesn't work for you, then stick with what you know. Stick with what you shoot best at. Like, just because everybody in the community is shooting a back tension release doesn't mean you need to shoot a back tension release either. Like, you don't have to jump on the bandwagon of everything.
No.
I purely did it because, you know, I got rid of my bad bow juju bow and got a whole new setup, and I really just wanted to try something new, and got it and tried something new. Like, I just wanted to train a different way, and it ended up working well for me, you know. But man, if you know what you know, I'm all for sticking with it. Like, if that's what you're best at, do with what you're best at.
Right. Yeah, right now, I would say these last few weeks is just gaining confidence in where that arrow's going to hit.
100% right.
So if you're not confident from the pullback of your shot and this from there, how are you confident in where that arrow is going to hit? So if you have confidence in your old release or your old setup,
yeah.
I don't know what.
No, dude, it's really funny that you say that with a confidence thing too. Is like I spend a lot of my summer shooting long distance with my bow, and then as I'm getting closer to season again, I actually start moving closer to my target again, because I just in my mind mentally I love seeing my arrows like all punched in the center.
Right.
Like it's one of those things. Like I don't care how far I am. If I'm seeing them punched in the center, I feel like I can nail anything. And then I carry that form over back to my 80 yarders, my 90 yarders, and I usually end my night with just a couple at long. So I shoot like 40, a couple sets of 40, a couple sets of 50, a couple sets at 60, 70, and then that's it. I'll shoot 3 arrows at each of those, maybe lob one at 85, between 85 and 90, and I'll end with like one of those. But like this morning, we shot all 15 of our arrows this morning at 40.
Yep.
Like I like going out some evenings and I'm like, 15 arrows at 40, and just working on form.
Yeah.
And that 40 just seems nice. You can just relax, and because it's just a confidence builder. All this time of year, 2 weeks out, everything should be dialed anyway. Obviously, you might be going through some final changes, but do whatever you have to do to build confidence.
Yeah. And we talked too about shooting lighted nocks. I know a lot of guys shoot lighted knots. I shoot lighted nocks when I hunt. I'm actually going to throw them on my practice arrows.
Yeah.
Because when I was shooting low light last night, I wasn't seeing it. I can kind of see where they hit, but I wasn't seeing exactly where they hit.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of time walking back and forth. And when you're trying to shoot that late evening,
yeah, you don't have much
running out of time.
Yeah, even pulling out the binocs out of the bivvy every single time takes 45
even,
seconds.
Even then, if you can see them or if they're blending in.
Yeah, it's hard to even see.
Depending on what color, veins you have on there fletching.
Right, that's true. That's very true, dude. I need to weigh my nocks and then see and make sure because I kind of want to buy some lighted nocks as well. I just think it'd look cool too for our when Matthew's filming, seeing that impact a little bit better. And
right.
And we can review that film on a shot that you're not sure of, and be like, we should be good, or no, we need to give that animal some time.
Right.
And so I need to. I'm actually totally uneducated when it comes to lighted nocks, so I need to do a little research and look at my weights, because obviously don't want my weight of my arrows to have any adjustment or anything like that. Make sure everything flies well.
Right.
Especially now that I'm getting that close, which that kind of stresses me out too. I'm like, do I want to even play with them and mess something up, or do I just want to leave it alone? Will it mess anything up? I don't know. I'm uneducated when it comes to lighted nocks.
I got my arrow scale in the truck.
Help. Really?
Yep.
Okay, we need to go. Maybe we try it out. But you're going to be... Okay, next week. That's the goal. If you have information, let me know. I'll take... Dude, I love being educated on stuff.
Yep. No, the more you can learn, the more you can figure out on stuff. I think the more confident you are in your equipment.
Agreed.
So one of the other things we talked about is mapping. I know you have Onyx.
I use Kirsch's Outdoor Products. He's out of Fargo? I think he's out of North Dakota. He's like an independent guy. 10 states on one chip. You pay for it once, and then you just buy the update every year.
That's on your GPS, correct?
Oh yeah. It's an actual chip.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in my Rhino.
No, I was going off the phone stuff.
Oh, gotcha. Yes.
No, that's where I thought it was. But yeah, you run that off your GPS.
Yep.
I know a lot of guys run Onyx. Hunt Maps is a really popular one.
What's the one you just bought?
I just bought Base Map.
Okay. Yep. You got that for cheap. You got it on Camo Fire, dude.
Fire. Yeah.
Scored it.
$18 for all 50 states.
Score.
I guess I was reading some of the reviews on it, and a lot of the guys that were writing the reviews were previous Onyx guys.
Interesting.
So they just said it's just a little bit cheaper. It was $20 versus $100 for all 50 states.
Okay.
In the grand scheme of things, it's not a terrible amount of money, but it's also just mapping. It's just another tool.
It's nice to save money.
Yes. So I'm just getting playing with it. I can't tell you a whole lot about it, except I'm excited because it's definitely got a lot better than better viewing and basically elevation changes, and you can see those little spots. I actually zoomed in on where I stalked a buck last year, and I could actually see this little horseshoe where he tucked into.
Can you see the buck?
Was
he there?
No, I don't know. I think so. That would be awesome. go tie him to a leash and then go back after him this
Was
year.
he there?
No,
Well, that's cool.
But I could see that, and on my Google Maps and on the GF&P map site, I couldn't see that.
Sure.
I could see there was just a different color, but I couldn't quite get
what it was. Interesting.
So I'm excited that it has that.
The detail's nice on it that you're telling so far.
And it's also got the, same with Onyx, they got the landowners. You can actually get landowner information. There's some phone numbers on there.
Nice.
So if you are on one chunk of land that you have permission for and the buck runs across on the other one, instead of just traipsing on and trespassing, you can give the person a call that owns it, and maybe they'll come out and help you look.
Right. I'm sure the landowners love that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I would, as a landowner, I'd appreciate a call before somebody went traipsing out there after a critter.
Dude, yeah, of course. I'm sure they get like 50 calls a fall.
Probably. Some of those guys with a lot of land, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I bet I get called a lot.
But
yeah, for sure.
No, so I'm going to work a little bit more with that. And
nice. I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah, I want to try and plan some routes and plan some, work my way. It's really nice because you can kind of work your way into a high point to scout, and it really shows, like, for the tree stand hunters that hunt, if you look at like big woods picture, you really can't get very detailed, like topographical, ridge. You can kind of see some ridges in there,
right?
But this has it down, so that's going to be pretty neat too, to see where the funnels are and where the deer are going to be.
Yeah, dude, that's one of the reasons why I love the Kirsch's chip. I spent a lot of time in New Mexico, and they have some detailed. There's different chunks of land in New Mexico, especially where I elk hunt, that are listed on most map services as private land because they are private, but they're actually truly listed with the state as like a unit-wide like hunting property.
Like
so they're it's similar to that, like around here. But on most people's maps, it shows up as private, so they don't think they can go on it when actually it's like a unit-wide part of the unit-wide hunting access that you could go on.
Nice.
And Kirsch's has all that information on there that's listed, which is why I really like theirs. And then I use theirs when I was in Colorado too. And same thing, I was in some really high, rough country, 11,000 feet areas and a little plus 11.5, and navigating out in the dark a lot of times. Some rough, rocky, mountainous stuff. Like their topo is phenomenal. Like it's nice having that little extra detail that some have to get yourself out on a little easier route, a little safer route. It's important.
Well, that's like you said, you were doing almost 3,000 feet of elevation gain.
It was sucked.
And if you can find any easier route doing 3,000 feet, they're definitely going to be all for that.
Yeah, it sucked. I do that again. I would do that hunt a little differently. I was just a little unprepared on how that land actually was. I thought I was going to hunt somewhere different, and then I got out there and I realized where actually I needed to go, and so you just got to change up. And I didn't pack in stuff to be able to camp up there. I didn't bring that along.
So you had to drop down
and so
every day.
I was, exactly. I thought I was going to be hunting a little different area that wasn't going to be so insane to just hike in and out and day hunt every single day and, put in, 5 miles in, whatever, not a big deal. But yeah, it ended up being where we needed to go, where the elk, it was just so much hotter than the normal year that year. Everything was still up really high. And so it was just, go up there, don't go up there, and don't find anything down low because they're not there.
Right.
And so it was just, we're gonna climb a long ways every day.
And along with like the GPS, these same thing, Onyx and Base Map, you can put markers and waypoints, and it actually will mark your tracks, so you can take the same trail in. Like you were saying, you went up one way and you came down. If you came down a really rough way,
I got clipped up one night bad.
Yeah, you obviously don't want to go that way, but you're going to have that route saved in there.
Exactly. It's important. I mean, just quickness, safety, overall just conserving energy. A lot of reasons why it's worth the investment on some of those tools for sure.
Yeah, and like that one for $20 to $100. That's, if you're saving miles and time, it doesn't seem like much now, but when you're out there and dog tired after hiking around or chasing an animal all day long, you're like, man, I wish I'd have spent that $20.
Oh yeah, exactly, for sure. And I'm just not I don't like working off the phone. I don't know why. I'm a GPS guy. I like utilizing the GPS a little bit more. Just what I started with, and the guys I hunt with, the style that we use, those Garmin, rhinos, Like, they intertwine and link to each other, so I can see where, if we split up, I can see where the other guy's at. We can radio back and forth. We can actually text back and forth on them. Mm-hmm. And so it's just, I like that. Like, actually, me and Justin will use them. You can just press a little button on it, so like it tracks each other. So when we're archery elk hunting, a lot of times he's behind me calling, and we'll shift around a side hill on an elk, and I'm walking, I'll just click my little button, and the whole time he's calling, he can see where I'm at. Because a lot of times we're in timber, we can't see each other. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously I can hear him calling, but he can't see me on where he should be shifting and moving. And so he can actually, I can just click my little locator button on the GPS, and he can see right where I'm at, and he can move and swing with me. Yeah. It's pretty sweet. Like, it's a nice tool.
Definitely a nice feature.
Yeah, it's a nice tool. And that's just why I invested in one of those.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, most of the places I've hunted have had cell service, so that's another thing. If you don't have cell service, that's where like a lot of these mapping systems.
Gotta be saving all those.
You can save them. Yep, you can save them in advance, and then that way you can still do stuff on them without being live. But
it scares me.
Yep.
It's because like in Colorado, what if I end up where I think I'm gonna hunt and then I go somewhere else?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Phone, forget to plug your phone in and your phone dies. Yeah. There's always that too. Dude,
I know. Well, that's yeah. I know. There's so many bets that you can plus and minus both systems, I suppose.
But yeah, I think they're both good.
They are. Agreed. Have something for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. What else you got for me?
I don't know.
We're closing up.
Kind of a wrap for this one.
We're closing shop. A little preseason. I'm stoked for everybody, man. We're a couple weeks out.
Yep. Starting to see some trail cam pictures of some velvet deer, some nice guys target bucks, and
seeing actually a couple guys in states that hunt high country opens up here this week. It's fun seeing some of those Instagram posts. I love seeing it's Dolph sheep season.
Oh.
So I love seeing that on Instagram, all the posts there, because that's definite dream hunt bucket list, one I've been saving for and will be saving for a while. But I love seeing all that stuff. It's just that time of year. I love when the Instagram feed and the Facebook feed is flooded with hunting stuff. It's the best. So thanks for tuning in today, guys, to the Live Beyond Average podcast. Much appreciated. We'll catch you next time.